back to the second half of the season on Sooners.ca. I'm Andy Martins, a brand new year, and it's great to be back on Political Points for February 14th edition of Political Points. Happy Valentine's Day to all the lovely ladies. And a reminder, we have a lot of great guests lined up for the month of February and March, including Susan Hunter will join me on a special show on February 28th. We'll talk about that later on. And on this edition of Political Points, we have Kelly Marshall to talk about the council meetings, 3 of them so far that have happened, 2 in January and 1 in December. And welcome back to the show, Kelly.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you, Andy. I'm glad to be here.
Great. So the new council's back in session, and what stood out in your mind in the 3 meetings that they've had for the new council?
Well, for the most part, they're just trying to get themselves set up for the new year. It was pretty dry. The one thing that kind of disappointed me in the second or the third meeting, I guess, the second one in January, was the Sioux College and Algoma University came to council to ask for $1 million each over 4 years, and they referred it to the budget. I was disappointed with that. I kind of agreed with Councillor Myers when she said, let's give them the money now and find it at budget. Worry about it at budget time. Because I think it's an investment in the city. Right. Algoma University wants to move downtown with their special or their music classes downtown. I think that would be great for the downtown. And Sioux College wants to invest into their properties, into their buildings that have been there since '65. They need to be revamped. They're not just wasting the $1 million. They're going to be putting it into their schools.
The fact of the matter is there's some pundits and people in the community who don't think that council should be funding that, but the fact of the matter is many communities such as Barrie, London, in this province do support their post-secondary education institutions.
Definitely. Dr. Collin brought up the point that there's cities out there that don't have a college and a university, and some of them are giving universities and colleges $5 to $10 million just to bring in a satellite site. We've got a college and a university in this city. I think we should invest it, nurture them.
Who impresses you among the new councillors as we get out of the starting gate for the long horse races? I like to call it 4-year horse race. Who impresses you out of the gate?
Well, I don't think anybody impresses me per se, not yet anyway. It's only been 3 meetings. They're still learning the ropes. Some of the new councillors might they got to get used to the council meetings and get their voices heard more. But I think the star will shine sooner or later.
Well, I think from what I'm looking at it, Councillor Bruni and Councillor Kobatic, they have of Ward 6 and Councillor Bruni of Ward 5, they have huge potential. These people have the background to do a great job and to shine on council. So there's a lot of talent out there.
Oh yeah, they all have huge potential if they act on it.
Exactly. Now, what about the West End Community Center? You wanted to talk about that.
Well, Mr. Manzo brings up water contamination. Yeah. Now, I don't know how much emphasis you want to put on that, but the thing that worries me is, water contamination does worry me a bit, and I understand they're going to monitor it as they're driving the piles. So what happens, the question that I want answered is that, what happens if they get half the piles driven in and then they find contamination? Are they just going to quit the project right then and there? I don't think so. So the contamination is going to get worse, I think. I don't know how that's going to happen. I'm not against the West End Community Center, don't get me wrong. It's a great project and it belongs in the city. But I don't know, that contaminations worries me, and that should worry a lot of residents, I think.
Well, Frank Manzel's been around for a long time.
Sure
there's a gamble there, and nobody doubts that he doesn't know his material. So that's going to be an interesting issue to keep an eye on. The ratepayers have some new plans up their sleeve that will be introduced to the community soon. Your views on the ratepayers and where that's all going? Do you think it's good for the community? Or?
Oh, definitely. It's definitely going to be good for the community. If we just got to get rolling more and more, and we'll get going.
Well, there's some exciting stuff coming down the pipe. I can't really release any of it now,
Yeah,
but
we'd rather
we'll find out about it very soon. In our remaining moments, Kelly, your impressions of Mayor Debbie, how has she done so far?
She's doing pretty good. She's letting the voices be heard. She's not cutting people off. I've noticed that. Mayor John had a bad habit of doing that. I'm sorry,
Right,
but
right.
he did.
Yeah.
He cut off a lot of people. She's not
Including
doing that.
Councillor Tradico, former
yes.
Councillor Tradico
Yes.
at the time.
And Mr. Manzo. She's keeping Manzo on the ropes a little bit because he can talk. He's a little long-winded, but she's letting him voice his opinions as well. I think she's going to do good.
Is it good for the community to have council and the mayor go to the community for ideas on a strategic plan and that kind of thing?
Definitely.
If you can have a quick answer on that.
Definitely. The city is more than 13 people.
Right.
We've got 75,000 voices that have to be heard.
Right.
And 13 people have to express those views. And it's hard to do that, but they have to do it. And
Right.
going to the community to get their opinions is definitely a good thing to do.
Great. As usual, Kelly, thank you very much for
Thank you.
coming on the show, and we'll have you on monthly to talk about how council moves forward. And thanks for coming on the show again.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
That's Kelly Marshall, who was a candidate in last year's municipal election in Ward 3. And coming up on the February 17th edition of Political Points, former the candidate, mayoralty candidate Ron Schinner joins me for further discussion on the municipal, federal, and provincial scene. So join me Thursday, February 17th, for another edition of Political Points. I'm Andy Martin.